So, speaking of never say never, my next follow-up question for you is why is your acting career over? I mean, isn't there? I mean, obviously you're not going to play Denton Little, but you've got a lot of books in you. I can sense this. And sooner or later, you or somebody else is going to write the perfect Lance Rubin breakout role, right? Or is it just not something you're interested in? Period.
No, I love that you say that because I do love acting. And no, I would not say acting is over for me. What is definitely over is like pounding the pavements, going to auditions, just kind of working that acting rat race, which I just found no pleasure in. However, if it gets to the point where a friend of mine's making a movie and they're like, this part would be great for you, and it seems like it's going to be a fun movie to make, I would definitely consider doing that. And for example, a buddy of mine, Joe Iconis, writes musicals. I first met him acting in his musicals, and then we went on to co-write a musical together called Broadway Bounty Hunter that just happened off Broadway this summer. But he does concerts all the time, and I perform in his concerts still. When I shifted from actor to writer, really in my head, I shifted to thinking of myself not as an actor, but as a creative person. So it's like I could do acting, do writing. Like I just like doing creative things. And that was helpful way for me to think about it. And even though now I will lead with I'm a writer, it's still in the back of my mind. It's just that thought that I'm a creative person. And I tell that to young people too. It's like, don't box yourself in. Really, all people, young or old, don't box yourself in saying I'm a this, I'm a that, because you might really, the way I ended up with fiction writing, you might really have a knack for something and find joy in this other creative thing that you're not even thinking of. So really keeping your mind open to that. And my mind is definitely open, like I said, to acting, but it's just I'm not pursuing it. If great acting opportunities fall in my lap and they seem fun and fulfilling, by all means, yes. But I'm not trying to be John Krasinski anymore.
He's not trying to be John Krasinski. He's actively trying to find roles as far away from Jim from The Office as he can get.
Exactly. He's right now. No, that's been an interesting thing too, because all the people who I wanted to be, like circa 2005 when I first got into New York City, was like Adam Brody from the OC. Loved him. Don't know if you watched that show, but he was great. I loved Zach.
No, but I watched Smallville and he did a season on there.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. Yes, really funny actor. But Zach Braff on Scrubs, and these were actors who I felt like, and John Krasinski in The Office, who actually I went to college with John Krasinski. We like overlapped a year and we were in a play together. I don't think he really remembers me anymore, but that's a side note. But John Krasinski's career looked amazing. But then when over time you just see how hard in an actor's career it is to kind of maintain that. All these people I mentioned are still working, but like it's just hard to consistently end up in like shows and movies that are good, because it's just not all things are good. That's just the nature of the business. And seeing that, I think, is very helpful for me to, or seeing that has been helpful for me and feeling like I've made the right decision, because I like being in a position to make the art I want to make, and exercise my creativity in ways that originate from me, which is cool.
I have this notion. I want to ask you about it.
Yeah.
That I think writers should be forced to take at least 1 or 2 acting classes, because I'm convinced doing that preparation of building a character comes in handy when you're building characters on the page.
Absolutely. And that was one of the biggest discoveries I had when I started writing a book. I was like, oh, this is, especially since Denton is a first person protagonist, I was like, this is, I don't want to say it's like acting exactly, but it uses a lot of the same things. When you're an actor, you're inhabiting a character, you're trying to know them fully so you know how they think and react and behave in different situations. And when you're writing a first person protagonist, it's the same thing. You're just in their footsteps, you're in their shoes. In their footsteps, that's not the right phrase. You're in their shoes and you're trying to react as they would react and think how they would think and write down their thoughts. And obviously you're creating the whole world around them too, and creating the other characters as well. But there was so much overlap there that was surprising to me. And I was like, this is fun. This is, it was using all those skills I'd honed from decades of acting in a different way. And I know other actors turned authors who feel the same way. Like there's quite a few, like Corey Ann Haydu, who's written both YA and middle grade books. She was an actor turned author. There are others who are not coming to my mind right now, but it's not an uncommon thing, and I think for that reason, there's just a lot of overlap. And YA especially, which is so there's a real like nowness to YA. A lot. I feel like a lot of YA is often in present tense because it's just like exciting and visceral and like it's all about the action, the plot moving and being in that character's shoes and reacting and so YA especially I think is really makes sense as a fit with actors to go into YA.
Plus, I assume you don't have to worry about somebody stinking up the place with the bad performance because you're playing all the characters, right?
That too. Yeah. I mean, making any kind of movie, play, TV show is all about dozens of people coming together to make this thing, and everybody has to be on their game to make it work. And so when it does, it's fantastic. But when you're writing a book, you have the luxury of, you've obviously got all these people involved in marketing and making the book from that perspective. But as far as the actual creative content, you've got your editor, you've got you've got your other readers, but it's really there's a lot more within your control.
It's not like getting up in front of people and being able to shake your paperback and sing and smile and have a presence hasn't